Right. But you have to define it, but the trick is, and that's what I said, because I'm going through this now, and that's a 5 chapter.
Right now.
C7, and I know you're doing the thing with the C3 for
Society.
for the society, yeah, for next year.
I'm
I
living
think
it.
it's really what the purpose of the organization is.
My Dickie sucks. This is nice. This is like.
He likes my Dickie.
It's very more like mine is paper thin. It looks like I'm ready to get my hair cut. Or possibly eating a meal like I'm at the.
I'm sitting there going,
I'm at the
wearing
Gravel
your
Shack.
I was just going, you're swearing at me
No,
or wearing a t-shirt.
no.
Got it.
I really want one of those. That's all. I'm envious.
I think
I'm sure
There is
if you
a-
talk to Howard Ball.
it was a eBay, maybe.
Howard Ball, like a banker.
No, he's a character on a very popular CBS sitcom who always wore
From,
Dickies. Big Bang.
Big Bang.
Oh,
He always wore Dickies.
I bailed out of that after the first season. Sorry.
No worries.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's their face.
yeah, yeah. Really, yeah. It was really cringy to watch. So I just kind of.
We are waiting for David Westover. I have put you guys up on the screen so that everyone can see you guys. You are also muted.
And the lag.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hey, hello.
the lag
Hi,
on
Dr.
our-
Nick.
Greetings.
Hey.
Wayne's World, Wayne's World.
Excellent. Does anyone know where Westover
David
is?
needed to make a quick stop.
Oh, okay, sorry, I apparently missed that part, sorry. All right, so we will just wait for David to get here. Yeah, we will wait for David to get here and then we will start.
There's one there. There's one here, but like.
He can fit there.
Yes,
I think there's room there too.
Maybe.
maybe.
I was gonna make a toboggan joke, but I think it's
Fair. A little tall for a short trooper.
You almost made that come out his nose.
No, nobody almost made it come out my mouth. I'm trying to avoid that. This is a new computer and I don't want it damaged. All right, so that means that David Westover is here, which actually means I believe with Wayne and Justin on the line that we have all of the board members except the ex officio one. Unless I'm miscounting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
And now you.
Yes, I'm about to do that. I'm about.
This is really how first word policy is made.
I'm really sorry that the screen's not facing that way, guys. Actually, wait a minute.
Oh.
Ha, ha, ha.
Oh.
Okay, now you have to do it again.
No, we don't.
You can get my arm, Justin.
Hello.
There we go.
Hi, everybody. Good to see y'all.
Maybe, because I'm kind of right.
I'll share one there.
Well, I can lean in when I need to talk.
They gave me barbecue.
Alrighty, so we actually have a quorum. We are better than a quorum. We are at full capacity. So we will get this meeting started and rolling. Would you like to follow the little secretary prompty stuff? Yes, that's the one. The secretary prompty stuff.
Martin Leslie,
Yo,
Laura Logan, here, Wayne Bruns,
Here.
Dave Westover.
Here.
Matthew Miller. He's not on it.
It's not on it.
Okay. never mind.
Matthew Miller has been replaced by David Westover.
That's right. I thought I copied it, but it's still here. Cindy Van is here. Joe Hardy,
Present.
Mike Garcia,
Yo.
Justin Graves,
It's just certain stuff.
Present.
Chris Holloway,
I'm not dead.
and Matt Parker.
Absent.
I still have to call them.
I know, I'm just letting you know that he's absent.
Okay. Now you are going to review the director duties and responsibilities.
Oh, is that thing that we sent out?
Yep.
Hold on. Then I need to log into my email and share that. 1 second. Sorry, you're losing vision on everybody. I gotta find the little thing in the email. Which means I need to log into my email. Ba, 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 ba.
It's too warm in here for me to keep the jacket on. And Mike's jealous of me.
Yeah, nice thinking.
So he said.
Ba, ba, ba.
Everybody wants to see. Well, if you had one, we might like it.
I did have one.
My innocent ears, Cindy.
Poor Wade. Not my fault. I didn't say it.
All right.
We're just waiting for Mike to return and then I will start going through this document.
Not me.
They're also cold. too. Man.
Well, we were waiting for the door.
I know, but that should be warm.
Mike stepped out to take a phone call. As soon as he's back, we will get back on track with the duties and responsibilities document. I'm
You can share it right now.
going to share my screen.
Yeah, actually, sure. For a second.
Yeah. it's fine. Poof.
Scroll down.
Wait, don't do that yet. Because many of us have saw it and we want. Mike to be here.
Ah, okay. Very well. I will not spoil the fun. Thank you for the heads up.
You're welcome. That's like, wait, not yet.
Not yet. It's like,
Because we're a bunch of people.
that's fine. Just tell me the rules of the road. I'll follow them.
She whispered that just for you, Wayne, so that you didn't hear it.
Thank you so much, Cindy.
His innocent ears.
His innocent.
Yep.
I made him watch Meet the Feebles. He doesn't have innocent ears anymore,
Yeah, no,
or innocent eyes for that matter.
or brain. Oh, there's another one. See if you can find it quick. It's repeated several times.
All right. I will. Sorry, the hotel was important.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. So we're going to be looking over the
Oh,
duties.
I wrote this.
There's a reason.
There are reasons we wait for. So I'm going to start going through this. And if anyone wishes to add any color commentary, please feel free to do so when I get to areas where color commentary can be added.
Is that for me?
For anybody in the room.
Okay.
As a director of the Royal Manticoran Navy, the official Honor Harrington Fan Association, Inc., TRMN, a nonprofit corporation in Delaware, you have certain duties and responsibilities that are crucial to TRMN's success and compliance with state law. In Delaware, there are three main duties mandated by state law that directors must fulfill: the duty of care, the duty of loyalty, and the duty of obedience. Let's explore each of these duties in detail. I'm just having fun reading it.
Oh, that's fine.
Duty of care. Duty of care requires directors to act in a manner that demonstrates a responsible level of care, skill, and diligence while making decisions on behalf of TRMN. Key responsibilities in this case include active participation. Directors should actively participate in board meetings and contribute their ideas, opinions, and expertise. This means attending meetings regularly, coming prepared by reviewing meeting materials in advance, and actively engaging in discussions. We will see how well you have done this momentarily. Informed decision-making. Directors have a responsibility to make huh?
He's very
Yeah. Informed decision-making. Directors have a responsibility to make well-informed decisions. This involves gathering and reviewing relevant information related to the issues at hand, asking questions, seeking expert advice when necessary, and considering the potential consequences and impact of your decisions. Reasonable diligence. Directors should exercise a reasonable level of care and diligence when making decisions. This means taking the time to understand issues, asking for clarification if needed, and applying their skills, knowledge, and experience to the best of their abilities. Seeking expertise. If directors lack expertise in a particular area, they should seek advice or guidance from individuals who possess the necessary knowledge or skills. This could involve consulting professionals, experts in the field, or other board members with relevant expertise. Financial oversight. Directors are responsible for overseeing TRMN's financial matters. This includes reviewing financial statements, budgets, and financial reports, and ensuring that the organization's resources are used responsibly and efficiently. Prudent risk management. Directors should exercise caution and prudence when evaluating and managing risks. This involves identifying potential risks to TRMN's mission and operations, implementing appropriate risk management strategies, and regularly monitoring and reviewing risk mitigation measures. Documenting decisions. It's important for directors to keep records and documents of their decision-making process. This can include meeting minutes, resolutions, and other relevant documents that provide a clear record of discussions and considerations and actions taken by the board. As a side note to this, at some point in the near future, we need to decide what our document retention policy is, how long we retain documents for, and how long we retain documents for, and what the processes are for things like legal holds should we ever be in a situation where that occurs. Regular self-evaluation. Directors should periodically assess their own performance and effectiveness of the board. This can involve self-evaluations, board assessments, and feedback mechanisms to identify areas for improvement and ensure the board is functioning effectively. Any questions on the duty of care? I am not hearing any, so I'm going to scroll on. Duty of loyalty. Duty of loyalty means mandates that the directors act in the best interest of TRMN, avoiding conflicts of interest and prioritizing TRMN's objectives over personal or third-party interests. Key responsibilities include acting in the best interest. Directors of TRMN have a duty to act in the best interest of TRMN and its mission. They should make decisions and take actions that advance the organization's charitable or public benefit purpose and benefit the communities or causes the organization serves. There is a question.
Yes. So is this rises to the level of a fiduciary responsibility, or do we have that level of responsibility in the organization?
So that falls under your duty of care, I think.
Yeah.
The financial aspect of the duty of care.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear the question.
So the question was, is this a fiduciary duty of the board members? And the answer is that is under the duty of care, and that's part of the financial oversight and the financial obligations that we have under the duty of care. So we're not allowed to squander TRMN's money. We can't like spend it on ourselves and do frivolous parties and buy, private jet rides to conventions and stuff like that. Yeah, that's good.
But I think more importantly, in putting this into context, a lot of, and I don't know if you guys can hear me on the call or not, can you? Or is it too low?
Maybe speak up.
So more to the point, previously, the Royal Council had financial decisions in front of them, but they didn't have the financial information to back those decisions. And this is what kind of led to, hey, what the hell are we doing? We need to course correct in terms of corporate governance, because if we had in fact voted for that resolution, which we were actually about to do, we had no idea that it was going to cause catastrophic financial damage to the organization, which would have been an abrogation of. And what was the question?
Nope.
Oh, okay. So to the duty of care. So that's this part and parcel of this, which is actually pulled from a document I made for the 501c3. And I just kind of, tried to skim through what I could. But was to illustrate that if you're accepting the seat that is expected of you, Delaware has codified its general statute in terms of what corporation or board members or board directors are supposed to, especially those in the 501 category.
Okay, any other questions or shall I scroll on? Scroll on, McDuff. Avoiding conflicts of interest. Directors must be vigilant in identifying and addressing conflicts of interest. They should disclose any personal, financial, professional relationships or interests that could potentially influence their objectivity or compromise TRMN's best interest. This includes avoiding situations where the organization's contracts or where the organization contracts with or provides benefits to individuals or entities associated with the directors. At some point, we will put together a financial disclosure statement that will basically just state that you have no financial interests, et cetera, and everyone will sign that. We'll put it in a file, which will be kept for, well, until you're no longer a board member, plus however many years after that.
Yeah.
Our document retention policy states we have to keep it. Transparency and disclosure. Directors should be transparent and forthcoming in their communications and interactions with TRMN and its stakeholders and the public. They should provide accurate information about the organization's activity, finances, governance practices, and ensure that any reports or statements accurately represent the organization's operations and impact. In other words, if you don't know the answer, don't say it.
Say, I don't know. Let me get back to you.
Yes. Confidentiality. Directors must respect the confidentiality of sensitive information about TRMN, including donor information, beneficiaries, strategic plans, and any proprietary or privileged information. They should exercise caution when discussing board matters outside of the official board meetings and should not disclose confidential information without proper authorization. For those who do not know, this meeting is being recorded. We are going to post this meeting for the general public to see. That will happen after I get home, so it probably will not happen until maybe Tuesday if I'm lucky, if not possibly sometime on Wednesday.
This information you probably had before you started recording.
Yeah, well, so everybody that logged in got the little, this is a recording message. So you all should know that it's being recorded. You should have heard it in this room when I logged in.
So Steve wasn't here, and Mike might have been on.
Okay, you're both being recorded.
Okay.
Okay. Duty of candor. Directors should should provide honest and complete information during board discussions and decision-making processes. They should share relevant facts and opinions and perspectives to facilitate informed decision-making by the board. Directors should also report any concerns or violations of laws, regulations, or organizational policies. So again, back to like, we'll put a procedure and we'll put a policy in place for recording and what is recorded and what is not. Obviously, things that share personal information will not be, may be recorded, but may not be disseminated, is probably the best way to say it. You know, and that could entail some of the stuff that winds up coming up to us from like the disciplinary or legal committees, just depending on the nature of those issues. Independence and impartiality. Society directors should exercise independent judgment and act impartially in the best interest of the organization. They should base their decisions on careful consideration of available information, the organization's mission, and the potential impact on the communities or causes served. Directors should avoid being unduly influenced by external pressures or interests of specific individuals or groups.
I suggest we strike the word society.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
That's fine, sorry about that.
Are you making a note of that? Okay. Compliance with laws and regulations. Directors must ensure TRMN complies with all applicable federal, state, and local laws and regulations. This includes maintaining tax-exempt status, filing required reports with government agencies, adhering to governance requirements, and fulfilling any legal obligations specific to the organization's activities or missions. As was mentioned also in the general meeting earlier today, that also means that if we have chapters that are doing things outside of the US, we need to make certain that they are complying with their local laws and regulations as well.
Bill Underhill brought that up.
Yeah, but it would also be true for any chapters in Europe that are doing it, or England and things like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
So we need to make certain that they are letting us know what they're doing, so that the very least legal can at least to take whatever cursory look into their laws we are able to do. Ethical conduct. Directors should uphold high ethical standards and act with integrity in all of their dealings on behalf of TRMN. They should also avoid engaging in illegal activities, fraud, conflicts of interest, or any behavior that could harm TRMN's reputation or undermine public trust. Don't do anything stupid. Yeah, I know. We're all here, but don't do anything else stupid aside from, being here. Stewardship of resources. Directors have a responsibility to ensure responsible stewardship of TRMN resources, including financial assets, property, and intellectual property. They should oversee the organization's financial affairs, including budgeting, financial reporting, and internal controls to safeguard assets and promote transparency and accountability.
I guess I'd ask again, do we want this language to have the fiduciary responsibility language? Because I know there's an important distinction between a fiduciary responsibility and a responsibility to ensure responsible stewardship, or does that language matter?
I don't think it matters because technically one of these duties is fiduciary.
Yeah.
By definition.
Okay.
Right? Because it is expected, it's regulated requirement of behavior of a director in Delaware. I keep going back to that because it's
Right.
we're talking about
I don't know.
in California, it's the California Corporations Code, in Delaware, it's general statute. So,
Yep.
we have to be aware that as we're acting, if we act against any of these things, then you could be subject to, there's, I think, I'm sure Matt could talk about it a little bit more. I'll let him do that. But there is a shield, there's a veil that protects us, and if we act outside of that veil, it could be pierced. So that's not good.
Okay, I just want to make sure we don't have to.
Yeah.
I know in California, there's a very specific set of levels of responsibility and that you can count to with fiduciary being the highest. So
Ironically enough, Delaware is where I went to law school. So we spent a lot of time talking about Delaware corporate law. I've got all the fun books at home. And I haven't done it in years, so I don't remember all the details, but a lot of it follows the UCC. So as long as we're adhering to the Delaware specific aspects that they then augmented from that, we are generally fine. For example, with this one of the things that we want to do, probably now sooner rather than later, is sort of take an inventory of stuff that we have on hand. Stuff that TRMN has either acquired or stuff that TRMN has ownership in. So examples would be like, I know somewhere we have like a badge printer or an ID card printer that prints ID cards. Yep. Okay. So as an example there, we should create an asset tagging system so that we can actually tag that asset. It states it's a TRMN asset. We know what number it is. That should be something that works out between you and finance, because finance needs to know what assets we have. So there should be a spreadsheet that essentially tracks that kind of stuff. So that's the kind of stuff that we're looking for. And we'll eventually, as we put policies in place for that, we'll eventually reach out to people who may have assets or have had assets in the past, and we'll figure out where some of those are. I know that Ann Zecca had a computer that's probably older than dirt at this point. So I don't really care if it's gone because I paid for that and it was like $500.
I'm pretty sure it's appreciated or
Amortized over time, right? So I mean, so I don't care if that ever gets tagged, but what I'm saying is that for stuff like the ID card printer, we should know about that. If we have stuff that we've used for Manticons that is TRMN stuff, we should know about that. We should tag those things. If you guys have as an example, like a Pitney Bowes, one of those mail scales that we're using for TRMN stuff for Buse Up, we should asset tag that. If we have computers that are TRMN, we should asset tag those. So things like that we should start thinking about, because we never did, and it's really time that we start being responsible corporation people. Yep.
Your stuff, there's other stuff.
Yeah. Duty of obedience. The duty of obedience requires directors to ensure the nonprofit organization operates within the legal and ethical framework set forward by its mission, bylaws, and applicable laws and regulations. Key responsibilities include acting in the best interests. Directors have a duty to act in the best interests of TRMN and its mission. They should make decisions and take actions that advance the organization's charitable and public benefit purposes and benefits of the community or causes the organization serves. Yes,
Is it? Are we repeating?
Yes.
yes,
So there, the duty of care and the duty of.
So now
Duty of
there's a Venn diagram. honestly,
loyalty and obedience.
of those three duties, and they overlap pretty heavily in terms of what's expected, but when you take them apart and you're looking at them, you know, in terms of,
But
What?
it's an exact duplicate one to the other.
No.
Exactly.
oh, I see, yeah, sorry, I apologize, that's
So-
probably also.
So 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bullets from one are on
Oh, wow,
the second
okay,
one.
I didn't.
is candor the same? I didn't think candor was in the previous one. No, it is, okay,
It is, oh, wow.
yep, okay. That's
I'm sorry,
fine,
what was the question or statement?
What?
sorry, what?
I didn't catch what the question or
Oh.
statement was.
Oh, so the statement that has been made is that the 9 bullets on this one are a exact duplicate of the 9 bullets that are in the one above.
That's my bad, sorry, I think I copied and pasted it wrong.
So we are going to relook at those. We will set that up for an email for everybody to look at the new bullets for the duty of obedience. But they will alter slightly based on the fact that this was a copy paste sort of quick thing that just happened by accident. So Mike says my bad, and we'll send
Yeah.
out an update.
I'll update that, guys. Sorry, boss.
Not my fault for once. Woohoo! Because usually copy paste errors are my fault. So those are the responsibilities of the director. Like I said, we'll update the exact language for duty of obedience. Until we do that, I can't really ask people if they're willing to be beholden to them.
That's true. Are we not seeing?
So yeah,
There's also duties in the bylaws.
there are duties in the bylaws. I would say that we are still seating, and we'll just get you guys an update for the duty of obedience. And if anyone has a major issue with them, let me know. And if we need to seat someone else, we can.
I have some of that.
Oh, cool. Well, there you go. I think so. You want to send it to?
I can read it.
Yeah, there you go.
Sure, I'll just read this.
Apparently, we have updated language. This will be fixed.
That's teamwork right there.
That is teamwork.
I did my homework.
State and so under duty of obedience, state and federal statutes. Hold on, here we go. Director should be familiar with state and federal laws relating to nonprofit organizations, charitable solicitations, sales and use taxes, FICA and income tax, withholding and unemployment and workers' compensation obligations. They should also be familiar with the requirements to the Internal Revenue Service. Directors should see to it that their organization's status with state and federal agencies is protected. Filing requirements. Directors must comply with the deadlines for tax and financial reporting with the Internal Revenue Service, for registering with the Attorney General's office, for making social security payments, income tax withholding, and so on. If an organization is incorporated, I'm going to skip that sentence because we're not Minnesota. Number 3, governing documents. Directors should be familiar with their organization's governing documents, including articles of incorporation, constitution, bylaws, codes of conduct, codes of ethics, and any other documents governing the organization, and should follow the provisions of those documents. Directors should ensure that proper notice is given for board meetings, regular board meetings are held, that directors are properly appointed or elected, and that the organization's mission is being accomplished. Board training. Directors should consider what training and education the board may need on a regular basis to ensure proper oversight of the new corporation, and develop an orientation for new board members. And finally, outside help. When appropriate, directors should obtain opinions of legal counsels or accountants or other outside individuals that are subject matter experts if necessary. For you, so teamwork.
Please email to me so I can I'll get in the minutes.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
And then just chop out a little bit about Minnesota.
I mean, like 30% of us are in Minnesota, so.
That's true, but since we're incorporated in Delaware, that is the state law that governs us.
But it, like you said, it's fairly common. 'cause
Yeah.
all of these are,
Yeah. Yeah, most of them are pulled from the UCC. It just depends on how each state actually uniform commercial code.
Right.
It just depends on how each state actually applied the uniform commercial code to their state. Delaware happens to be the one that is the most similar to the universal commercial code, which is also why Delaware has the largest US postal.
Your audio cut out.
Am I back now?
You're back now, yeah.
Yeah, so that's also why Delaware has the largest US Postal Service office in the country. That is nothing but PO boxes. It was a block and a half from my law school. Because my law school also hosted the Delaware Supreme Court 3 times a year. Because we were the only law school in Delaware. Okay, so those are the duties and responsibilities of the board. I guess the next thing is to seat the board.
Yes.
Yep. So the question is, and I will go through each and every single individual that is on this call and in this room. We are going to seat the board. I'm going to just run through everybody and ask them if they accept those duties and responsibilities. And if so, they will be seated. I will start with the people that are online. And I will start with Wayne, because you seem to be unmuted. Do you accept these duties and responsibilities as a board member of the Royal Manticoran Navy?
Yes, I do.
Okay, then you are seated as a board member. Justin Graves, do you accept these duties and responsibilities as a board member of the Royal Manticoran Navy?
I accept.
Joe Harney, do you accept these duties and responsibilities as a board member of the Royal Manticoran Navy? Chris Holloway, do you accept these duties and responsibilities as a board member of the Royal Manticoran Navy? Fantastic. David Westover, do you accept these duties and responsibilities as a member of the Royal Manticoran Navy's Board of Directors?
I shall.
Fantastic. Laura Locken, do you accept these duties and responsibilities as a member of the board of TRMN?
I accept.
Mike Garcia, or do you prefer Michael Garcia? Hey, you?
Sure. That's that one.
Michael Garcia, do you accept these responsibilities as a member of the board of directors of TRMN? Cindy Van Wy, do you accept these responsibilities as a member of the board of TRMN?
Yes. Martin Lesson, do you accept these duties and responsibilities as a member of the board of the TRMN?
Yes, I do.
So you were already seated.
I am already seated, so I'm already bound by them. I have no
Yes.
choice.
Oh, God. Let me know.
But yes, I also accept these responsibilities and limitations and all that fun stuff.
So this forms a new term, right?
Yes.
Okay.
This starts this term, which theoretically the bylaws went into effect yesterday. Because that's what we voted on before.
The term is at the end of next annual meeting, right? Whenever it's.
Correct. Whatever that's.
Yeah.
It's not a calendar.
No, we're gonna have to schedule an annual meeting at some point. And I don't know when that's going to be yet. We're gonna have to figure that out. But it'll probably be sometime around this time next year. It's whatever sort of either where we decide we're holding it, whether it's gonna be a con or whether it's gonna be an online thing. So it'll be somewhere around this time period. I just don't know yet. I'd like to try not to do it on a 4th of July weekend if we can, just because a lot of people have vacations and travels and stuff like that. So it may be slightly earlier, it may be slightly later. And I think that should be acceptable, right?
Yeah,
As long as it's
absolutely.
within-
You can hold the annual meeting before the term ends.
Yep.
And then the new- Yeah, and then the new directors take over. at the
In.
end of the year.
Yeah.
First.
Okay, yeah, so
Yeah,
So we're
you're
good. Okay.
Next is review the bylaws.
Stop sharing. There we go. I gotta open the bylaws. I am not going to read all of this because that's going to be a pain in the ass. Or do I have to read?
No.
No.
Fantastic.
I think you're good. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna share the bylaws with the Delaware State's office.
Correct.
On on the SOI, and then, I mean, really, it's just making sure everybody's read them.
Yep. Has everybody read the bylaws? Does anyone still have any outstanding questions regarding the bylaws? Concerns, comments? Okay. Do we need to, we don't need to vote to accept them, do we? Or they're already accepted?
They're
They were
already
already
accepted.
done.
Previous board, okay, so we're good. So, okay. So we're gonna share these bylaws with the state of Delaware to sort of update everything. We also need to update all of the directors of the organization. So that is a filing that we're going to have to make sometime in the very near future. That will be done. I don't think Delaware's forms require wet ink signatures. They did back when we founded, but that was also sort of 2011, and I think that they've gone away from that. I think
I can tell you that
they don't.
when I updated it, I was all electronic.
Okay.
Just basically electronically signed as an officer of corporation.
Okay.
Submitting true.
Okay, so we don't need to, so we're not gonna send stuff around for wedding, so we're just gonna be good and update everything with names and addresses as required by Delaware law. Any questions about that?
So like, just want me to message you my updated address, because I've been living here less than a year, so you might not have it yet.
Make sure that your address is updated in Medusa.
Can do.
If it's in Medusa, we'll grok it from there.
I think it did, but I will double check.
Next is electing the officers, which are the executive vice president, secretary, treasurer, chief legal officer, and everybody else is a vice president.
Okay. I'm gonna start with legal officer unless there's an order that I have to go in. Cool. I am going to nominate Matt Parker for legal officer.
I second that nomination.
Okay. I mean, do we,
It's not a motion.
It's not a motion, so I'm-
But you can nominate him too, Justin. if
Yep.
you like.
Call the vote.
do we need to vote on this? Yes.
Probably, can we do an acclamation or not?
You can't. Well, I mean,
Nominations is closed, secretary has one ballot.
It's more proper.
So nominations for legal, for legal counsel are closed. Will the secretary please cast a ballot?
We don't have a secretary yet.
Oh, crap.
You will have to act as secretary.
Fine, I will act as secretary. I will act as secretary. We're gonna fix that right after this. Justin Graves,
Aye.
Wayne Bruns,
Aye.
Joe Harney, Chris Holloway,
Aye.
David Westover.
Aye.
Laura Locken.
Aye.
Mike Garcia,
Enthusiastic guy.
Cindy Van Wy. Fantastic. That's the nominator. I am not going to vote. Matt passes. Matt is our new legal officer, or official legal officer for TRMN. I'm going to nominate Cindy Van Wy as our secretary.
I will second.
Fine. Nomination period closed unless anyone else has anyone else they want to nominate. Going once, going twice.
Wait a minute. Cindy, do you want the job?
You do have to ask her.
No, I'm serious. She's getting railroaded here.
Yeah, no, but I need to close. No, don't close the nomination first. Yeah, it's fine. Do you accept the nomination?
I will accept.
Fantastic.
All right. Just checking.
Thank you. Thank you, because we didn't do that for Matt. Matt's gonna accept anyways. We all know.
And he's not here.
He's not here to say no.
Hey,
All right, so since Cindy is not yet the secretary, Justin,
Aye.
Wayne,
absolutely.
Joe, Chris, David,
Yes, please.
Laura,
Enthusiastic
And it's going under.
Mike.
Super enthusiastic guy.
Do you want to vote for yourself?
Well, probably not.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured, but you're in, so you get to take over. Is there a tie? I was gonna say there's no tie right now.
No, no, I said it.
Yeah.
Who do you want to do next, Chris or EVP?
Well, let's do finance next. Why not? Let's
What the hell?
let's do finance. I nominate Chris Holloway as our chief financial officer. Chris, do you accept the nomination? Okay. Does anyone else want to nominate a chief financial officer? Not hearing anyone, I'm closing the nominations. Madam Secretary, please call
Just a
the vote.
sec, where's my little copy paste? Justin,
Aye.
Wayne,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
do you want to vote for yourself, Chris? David,
Aye.
Laura, Mike, Cindy, yes. And you don't vote. So it passes.
Yay.
Thank you.
Next is EVP.
All right, who wants it? Everybody looks at Laura.
I was literally going to nominate Laura, so
That's fine. Perfect. So Justin has nominated Laura. Laura, do you accept Justin's nomination? Then I'm going, to close the nominations. Madam Secretary, would you like to call the vote?
There's only an
Executive.
executive.
There's only an executive.
Okay,
Hold on, we're copy pasting.
Justin,
aye.
Wayne,
Aye.
Joe,
Super duper enthusiastic, yes.
Chris, David, Laura, what do you want to do? Okay, Mike, and Cindy, yes. So that passes.
All right,
So now
fantastic. We-
everybody else is vice president, or do we have to do that?
So the divisional vice presidents are.
Yeah, so
Not
do we need
according to
to?
the bylaws. According to the bylaws, the rest are vice president. Mhm. Are you sure?
David White, is that correct? Yeah.
Okay,
We're all board of directors and that's.
Yeah.
The.
We're talking about
Corporate.
officers.
Corporate office,
Okay.
it's divisional, it's the divisional directors.
so do we elect vice presidents, or is naming them to the steering committee, naming them as vice presidents?
That's a fantastically great question. I'm going to turn over to a parliamentarian to answer that.
The bylaws.
Hold on. Oops.
Is naming them to the steering committee considered naming them as vice presidents, or do we have to separately name each vice president who's not here to accept?
Number of officers shall be president, one or more vice president. Two or more officers may be held as person or president may not serve. Vice president. No, we're talking, so we have a president, executive vice president, any additional vice presidents approved shall be assigned to be on as needed basis.
That's why I was like, I don't think the vice presidents are specifically branch heads, because it's not in the bylaws.
No, it's, so the reason why the vice presidents were not specified branch heads, because we were trying to separate the role play aspect.
Right.
From the corporate governance side, which is unfortunately in the original bylaws, is one of the problem areas we identified. However, we can defer.
So under Article 5 of the corporate officers, Section 2 speaks on divisional vice presidents, which are appointed.
And it's
By-
separate from the other vice
Oh, that's
presidents.
right.
Shall
So
appoint
that's
divisional
the-
vice presidents via the authority granted to the permanent steering committee.
That's
So,
right, so.
So we do steering committee and don't worry about the other unless
Correct,
you
but
want
the
to name.
chairman appoints the-
hold on, president of the board authorized as the chief executive officer of the corporation shall make appointments of divisional vice presidents and
So it's not
members.
election.
Yeah, they're appointments. So,
basically it's the Royal Council, but
yeah,
one step down. from-
But the other vice presidents, not the divisional vice presidents, we don't have to. do.
we don't have
No,
to.
it's not required. to have vice
Okay.
presidents, so-
All right.
But if we need to, it's more, think of it as more like wiggle room to expand
Okay,
the officer core of the,
Yep.
you know, of the corporation. We need to,
okay.
I was trying to. really hard not to-
So the next item would be to establish the executive. committee, Part of which we just established. It is chaired by the executive vice president. It includes the secretary, the treasurer, and all corporate executives appointed by the committee chairperson under Article 5. So Chris and Laura and I are it. And Laura can assign other people. Appoint other.
Which is presumed to be the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth.
No. This is the executive committee. Oh, yeah, Space Lords.
Yes,
Okay,
this is the
yes.
executive, yeah, this is the face.
Okay. No, I was thinking the divisional heads still.
No.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No. So this, no. The executive committee is essentially the operations. So it's the people that physically do the stuff that needs to be done.
So do we have to do stuff for that
No,
or just she appoints it?
She appoints it.
Other than the statutory requirement.
Right. So we just have to, I think we have to officially stand up that committee though,
So, yeah.
as a board.
As a board committee. you know, basically stand
Yep.
in, so that-
Yeah, do we have to vote on that? Or-
that's-
That's a motion, okay.
I mean,
So-
it's required.
So I will motion then to stand up the executive committee consisting of, consisting of the executive vice president, secretary, and finance officer. And any other additional people they wish to appoint to that committee once it is stood up.
Second.
Okay. I'm waiting for her to finish her little thing so she can call
We still have to do roll call.
it. Yeah.
Justin,
Aye.
Wayne,
Aye.
Joe, Chris, David,
Aye.
Laura, Mike,
Aye.
Cindy, and Martin doesn't vote.
I mean, I can, it's not gonna matter.
Well, but
This is a motion.
Yeah.
okay.
I promise future board meetings will not be this, I mean, they will be procedural, but they will not be like this much process. We're just killing a lot of process in the beginning.
Okay, the next committee is the licensing and legal committee, which is chaired by the president of the board. It includes the EVP Laura, the secretary Cindy, and the chief legal officer Matt Parker. There is no other appointments in that board.
I motion that the legal and licensing committee be stood up with those
Did you
individuals.
second the last one too? Okay, so I could just copy paste.
You can. You want to open the floor for discussion?
I was just about to say that. I'm gonna open the floor discussion because there's a question.
So is the people licensing one, is that full ones or can we add members?
It doesn't say that we can, but I don't know.
So
Can you please repeat the question?
So for the legal and licensing committee, can we add members to it as needed is the question.
We were concerned about licensing aspect of this board.
Yeah, as the seventh space lord, I would think that I would have a useful role on that committee. Being the one in charge of the for production of licensed items.
That argument though.
But I think that we can bring in subject matter experts to help advise.
and I would think that you could also create an
Yeah.
non-voting role so that they would be able to advise
Yeah.
the committee. which is-
Once the committee is stood up.
There's nothing preventing.
So yeah, so we can do that.
But I think the reason why, in our discussions, if you don't mind.
No, of course.
The substance of this discussion was me, myself, Matt, and Martin. We were addressing the need for So we had a number of people that were all stakeholders. That you're not a stakeholder, but purely at the officer level.
There's four on that.
There's four.
There's four on
Yes,
that
there
particular
are.
board, yeah.
Oh, so yeah,
We can add a fifth, yeah.
You can't appoint them. I think it shall consist of, that's the.
Minimum, yeah.
I know that when we talked about it. the big stakeholders,
Yep.
Because the EVP is representing the committee that you were on, or the executive committee. And if there is an issue that is voted out of that committee to the board, and the board then designates it for licensing and license review, then that committee would then engage and say, oh, we're going to review that as a board action or a committee action. And whether or not that committee vote could possibly be binding on the board as a board action.
I just.
It's super procedural.
Yeah.
I understand that. It's kind of almost like,
Well, at a certain point, there may be some conflict of interest
But
as the producer.
I really felt that when I wrote this, that we needed to show like where BUR could go, like what heights we could reach. Like, it's like.
So the comment that you missed is when Mike wrote this, he really needed to be able to show where BULARP could go. So
We're reaching new heights.
reaching new heights, yes.
Just to
Reach
prove
for the
to everybody
stars.
that's complained about the bureaucracy part so far, just to kind of show them, he ain't seen nothing yet.
Right.
This is-
That was my thing yesterday.
Yeah.
So we, so are you okay with that?
Oh,
Okay. So we have a motion and a second.
any discussion? Any further?
Any further discussion?
Well, did you want to put a fifth person on the board right now or not?
Well, so that can be done at
That could be, that
Okay.
could be,
committee.
yeah.
Yeah, the committee can take care of that.
All right.
It's just a matter of-
This is just standing up.
Yep.
Yeah, it's standing up committees that exist, and then, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
All right, Justin,
Aye.
Wayne,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Chris,
Aye.
David,
Aye.
Laura, Mike,
Aye.
Cindy, yes, Martin.
Aye.
The next one is the steering committee, which is chaired by a director. That's what it says. And it includes the executive vice president, the secretary, and all corporate divisional vice presidents.
So in other words, all of the division heads become VPs.
Correct. So the reason why it's
Yeah.
a director, yeah, the reason why it's a director is because, and again, just for sharing the substance of our conversation, Martin may not want to chair that committee. He may want somebody else to chair that committee. So, like, for example, Laura may also chair that.
She's already on it.
Yeah, but she could be the a director.
I do not accept that.
I will not nominate you to chair that committee. Who else was on it? It was the EVP and the secretary?
The EVP, the secretary, and all the corporate divisional vice presidents, so the branch heads.
Okay, so I will not nominate a chair for that committee at this point in time. I will let the committee do that by itself, but I will,
Yeah, that works.
but I will obviously stand up the committee with Laura, with Cindy and David, since you are a branch head, and Wayne, since you are a branch head, are you both willing to serve on said committee?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
You actually can't. But
oh, I can't?
you have to.
I have to appoint the chair? Fine, I will appoint myself for now and we'll get rid of me eventually.
You could do Joe. He's not a steering person. He's a director.
True, actually, you know what? Hold on, I have a better idea. Mike.
You know, I
The
heard
part-
Mike trying to throw Laura under the bus for this, so maybe,
The part that
maybe
you.
it should be Mike.
Spots.
I don't know.
You're gonna have to bleep that out.
We had a bunch of stuff earlier that's on recording.
Oh.
I'm not going through and editing this recording.
All right. Oh, I don't have to accept that. Just,
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna vote to stand this committee up then? All right, Madam Secretary,
Putting him in there because you went and changed it.
We're gonna have to-
Who seconded?
I did.
we're gonna have to
You
what?
seconded doing that?
Yeah. Well, we have to stand.
We have to stand the committee up. We can change stuff after the committee.
Put the poison pill motion.
And
Just for clarity, can we repeat who is on the committee as it's being stood up for this one?
Sure, the committee that's being stood up at the moment includes Wayne, David, Laura. Yes,
there is something else that we need to discuss.
hold on. Cindy and Mike. Apparently, there's something else we need to discuss. Do we need to discuss that before we stand this committee up?
The inactive members of the former Royal Council.
Mhm.
Do we do that now?
Well, no,
But-
because by virtue of the no longer being board members.
Yeah.
And we've not appointed any of them as corporate divisional vice president.
Yeah.
Correct.
there's
So
no-
that's a different.
Yep.
Because that's not something on the agenda.
Nope.
Well,
No,
add
that-
it at the end. and we'll get-
Okay, all right. And the people that are going to be on that committee cannot vote? The committee that we haven't appointed can't vote for this?
I'm gonna vote for it.
We can vote it down.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
It's only for the voting of the officers.
Yeah.
The committee assignments, you can have a vote.
Okay,
And this is just standing up the committee. That does not mean that we cannot change the composition of the committee at a later date.
No, we can do it.
Yeah.
We can modify it.
well, it was discussed at the Royal Council meeting that we might want to change the members of the steering committee based on participation in the past.
Right, but and that was, you're talking about the top part of the bylaws I was talking about. And the inactivity. Okay, yeah, but that was the old bylaws.
Yeah, that's the old bylaws.
Right,
So,
but we're going to assign them.
yes, but we are going to, but the committee will appoint the rest of the,
Right,
will
so-
appoint the rest of the members. So if you don't want to appoint hypothetically person X, because person X hasn't been doing squat for the last year and a half,
But you might have-
you don't have to appoint person X, but you could appoint their deputy.
but
Yeah.
remember, we have to separate the parts.
Okay, I'm just,
No, no, I get it.
because I was like, that's something we have to do.
Sorry, we're doing more, we're doing more bureaucracy work.
I mean,
But-
it is, the first meeting. It's going to happen.
Justin,
Aye.
Wayne,
Aye.
Joe, Chris, David,
Aye.
Laura, Mike,
That's so quick.
That was the most enthusiastic one all day.
Cindy, yes, and Mark.
Aye.
Okay, the next committee is the disciplinary committee, which is chaired by the chief legal officer and includes a rotation of even number members appointed by the chief legal officer.
So we are going to have to hold off on standing that committee up because the chief legal officer is not here.
Although he did send in suggestions.
Oh, did he? Hold on.
Do we wish to discuss this proposal?
I think we do.
If we are discussing that proposal, I would like to move to executive session.
Where did he send in the, who's it?
He sent it.
He sent it in, oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, here it is. Hold on.
And when you see it, you will know why we want to discuss it,
Do you want me to read the,
Yep.
which means stop recording.
Hold on. I gotta hit the stop record button. Actually-
Sorry.
We have to go to the motion to go into closed session, right? And I will pause the recording. And I will resume recording once we're done with closed session. Okay. Due to the,
You moved to go to closed session?
I move to second.
it has been moved and seconded to go to closed session. Hold on, we're just typing up and then Madam Secretary, please call the roll when you are ready.
We can do an acclamation.
We can do this acclamation. So,
Anyone who would like to go to closed session, please say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Okay, pause the recording and we go to closed session.
all right, I am pausing the recording. It is 6:31 PM Pacific time. The recording is paused now. The recording has resumed at 6:41. So I am going to motion that we defer standing up the legal committee until such a time as the chief legal officer can address the board.
Point of order. It's the disciplinary.
Sorry, the disciplinary committee, until such a time as the legal officer can address the board.
I'll second.
Okay. Madam Secretary.
I'm working on it.
Okay.
You guys are crazy.
We all volunteered, except the development.
But next time I'll be able to put all this in here ahead of time.
If you'd like an assistant.
Okay. Justin,
Aye.
Wayne,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Chris,
Aye.
David,
Aye.
Laura, Mike,
Aye.
Cindy, yes, Martin.
Aye.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is to consider the investment proposal from the treasurer, which was made at a Royal Council meeting, so Joe has no clue what we're talking about.
Correct. And I am not sharing my screen. I'm just verifying that. Perfect.
Justin was at the Royal Council meeting.
Do we have that one here?
He's
Oh, it's the road speaker.
the Lord Speaker.
Did you send it to me? If so, I will just search.
It was attached to Royal Council, so if you go into the Google Drive and go to the 2305 under Royal Council.
I'm apparently not in the Royal Council because it's not, well, let me check shared with me. Hold on.
I can also email it to you if I find it real quick.
That'll be good because I'm apparently not in the Royal Council Google Drive.
There it is.
Hold on. Document is on its way.
This computer doesn't like doing it in that order.
I might see if I can find it quickly.
No, wrong meetings. Right here, yeah. It should be shared with you because I shared the whole thing. But you can look at that later. Loading, loading, loading. File. Okay, it's sent. Basically invest some of the money.
Not here yet. Hold on.
Yeah, Wi-Fi.
Ah, yes, but I'm using my own Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay. Well, then it's maybe my Wi-Fi. It still shows sent. It's not sitting in outbox, it's sent.
See if it's here. Hold on. Nope.
There you go.
Haha, I have it here. Because I have Google Foo. Share screen, little thing, share
You
screen.
have, there was 2 documents. but-
One was mine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, one was a financial report. So this is the, yeah, this is what you were looking for, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, so I'm going to turn this computer to face Chris. And Chris is going to talk to us about his proposal. So please make sure that you speak
Okay. One of the things that I was looking at is our overall cash balance. And while we deliberately maintain a high level in our use up PayPal account, we are at almost $8,000 in our TRMN checking account. It is a non-interest bearing account. And the money's not doing us any favors just sitting there. My proposal to the board was to invest a portion of that money, as decided by the board, in a Fidelity mutual fund, specifically the Fidelity Select Technology portfolio. I chose this based on a number of factors. One, it has a long and proven history of growth and has typically outperformed other indices in its class. That first graph on page 1 shows how a investment of $10,000 would have grown over the last 9 years to almost just over $54,000. So it's a 540% increase over a span of 9 years, which is very good. It is a slightly higher risk, but it is not a super high risk. This particular fund invests in large cap stocks for technology companies such as Apple, Microsoft, NVIDIA, which makes all sorts of different cards, NXP Semiconductors, Cisco Systems, which does a lot of work in network systems. And the returns have been well above average. Again, as a mutual fund versus a stock, I feel that this gives us a little bit less risk because the fund is actively managed. But at the same time, it also does not require heavy expenditures to maintain and operate the fund. If you look down on the performance, if you could magnify that slightly, over its lifetime, the return on investment has been 13.3%. And it's traditionally done better than, as I said, the indices and other stocks in its class. Even this year at 2.1%, but over the last couple of months, and this information is dated because it's based on March data, it's actually running closer to 25% return on investment this year alone. The technology industry is exploded, and I believe that this would be a good investment for TRMN. What I do need the board to decide upon is, one, if we choose to invest in this fund, then there are a number of resolutions that this board must adopt. And those are summarized on document page. It's 24, but document page 28. There are resolutions that must be adopted by this board, basically empowering me as our company's financial representative to invest with Fidelity. So my first question is, does the board want to see about investing some of our money into this fund in an effort to grow capital and be able to use some of that excess earnings to help fund other projects or expansions as desired?
Our 501c7 subject to capital gains tax.
No, we are not subject to capital gains tax, and we are specifically allowed under the IRS regulations such that we can get up to 30% of our income from investment sources. I estimate that if we get $1,000 gain in this fund in 1 year, that's still only about 3% of our annual income. So we would not be in violation of any requirements under 501c7 status.
And what are your recommendations in terms of investment?
Well, I would say $5,000. That would still give us $3,000 cash on hand in the checking account. I know Laura had expressed some concern about the liquidity if we suddenly had some kind of a large investment or some kind of large expense. Honestly, I can't think of what that would be required. However, we can, if necessary, sell off and have the cash in our bank account within 3 to 4 business days.
So, two, we are going to need to resolve our continuing and ongoing email communication issue, which, as the fourth space lord has repeated on multiple occasions, is going to be an expensive endeavor. And then secondly, have you looked at the, because I saw the 2.66%, and I know I've personally been looking at certificate of deposits and returns. Economically, we are riding kind of tail end of the stimulus injection in the economy, and a lot of the market experts are expecting a significant correction. So I'm not entirely sure how rosy or able to ride out any bumps or bruises that the economy may suffer here, especially if we go through another extended negotiation over the economic conditions of the United States government. So I know I'm always myself, I'm much more conservative in my principle and not risking it because of the difficulty in which we have acquiring capital through this organization.
Let's dip our toe with a lower balance and
That's, yeah, what I was gonna suggest.
Yeah.
What if we look at, instead of the $5,000, we look at something like a $2,000 investment or a $3,000 investment, somewhere in that range, and that then gives us the $5,000 on hand
right.
to work with issues that come up with the email. I mean, if the email is going to cost us $5,000, that's going to be expensive for Chuck Harris.
Right, and then exec committee's gonna have to,
We're going to throw all that.
yeah, the exec committee's gonna have to figure that out
Yeah.
and get a report from DOS about what the overall exposure is. But then the other thing that we need to talk about, tangential to what Chris has brought up, is that we, as far as we know, do not have a pre-operating budget for the corporation.
We have the budget that was approved by the council through the end of this year. Through the end, yeah,
Calendar year?
yes, it's counted.
But it doesn't, is it for the expenditure that Joe was bringing up?
As far as $5,000 for an email system,
Or just any system, period.
I don't know what is going on with the computer system.
we, I was not made aware when I prepared the budget of any changes in terms of having to fund an email system. I will say that I was preparing, seeing as how it's now 6 months before our nominal budget ends, to start,
The next year.
not so much, but start the cycle for next year as to looking at what kind of expenditures we expect to see. For example, when I was getting information on budgets and finances for TRMN a couple of years ago, one of the, I'll say, outliers that didn't make the cut was View Plan was looking for some materials or such for what they call convention in a box. And at the time, that didn't go anywhere. I recently reached out to Commander Griffin, the chief of staff, to see if the new 2SL was interested in pursuing that and what the expenditures would be.
Right.
Another thing is I got an email, and I know it was discussed recently about background checks, specifically for people in the Sphinx Forestry Commission, but there are other positions. And that's something that I think it might be nice to, cover those expenditures rather than requiring members to pay for that, just because they want to volunteer to work for the organization. But again, that's all part of the process that we go through the board and the board.
So maybe what we should do is we should get the budget for next year put together before we vote on.
I know, I hate to kick the can.
No, that's fine.
And I don't know, I assume there's no deadline on that.
No, there's no deadline. It's just, right now, we got a huge chunk of money sitting there and it's not doing anything.
Right, but in the final analysis, and Joe mentioned CDs, which I honestly did not consider, but that's it was a good point to raise.
I was just looking commercially,
Yeah.
it's like a year CD is getting like 4%.
Would it be possible to defer matters, with the request from treasurer to get an analysis of other investment?
That's absolutely fine.
Okay. Is that? Okay.
It's probably a good idea.
And then I'd also like.
I like
to-
the idea of it, doesn't, but I want to.
Yeah, can we look broadly at other opportunities that you feel might yield, maybe not at the same percentage level, you know,
Right.
on this, but certainly one that's more conservative and even keel in terms of.
I can certainly present the board with various options with the degree of risk and
The
reward.
only reason why I mentioned this is because I work in the sector.
Yep.
And I might have a myopic point, but my optimism lately has not been that great here with the business on Tumble and Apple. Following their announcement on new technologies that were coming out, which obviously depressed the stockholders a bit. So I just wanted to, you know, like, I saw that Apple was included in the fund, but
They
I'm
are.
curious, I know that document was produced months ago. But I'm sure it doesn't entail the Tumble that they just took.
Well, and my concern on top of that is I want to make certain that if we have these outliers that we haven't had in the budget, that we'll be including some of those things.
And we tie the money.
And we tie the money out. We want to make certain that, you know, that we can still do that. So I want to make certain that from our.
Laura's ask of liquidity, that was
Yeah.
good, yeah.
So, you know,
I was thinking
from-
about that.
As part of our fiduciary duty, let's
Yeah.
make certain that we actually have the money to invest. I think that's the first step. And then once we make certain we have that, then we can make a decision as to where to invest it and how much to invest. So I say, do you want to defer this to the next board meeting or?
I would say, yeah, defer until the treasurer has had an opportunity to analyze the full field, and at that time, then the board to table it.
Yep.
So it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. But then I'd also want to make a motion to put the request of the communications budget or ecom's budget on the executive committee, so that they can have an opportunity to look at it and determine what needs to assess the needs of the day-to-day operations of the corporation. To then refer the matter back to the board for, you know, adjudication.
So then let's table the.
So first motion. Yeah. Right.
Well,
You moved. Somebody seconded that we defer it.
That's fine. So I'll second.
Or table.
Table this discussion until such time as.
Chris has an opportunity. It is a motion, so we can tackle it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Other motion being,
Oh, sorry, I motion to refer the matter of the operational budget analysis to the executive committee.
Can you please repeat that motion?
That I motion to refer the matter of the corporate operational budget to the executive committee.
I second that motion.
Well, that's part of it. Email database. I just really I want to know what the, yeah. So I realize it's a lot more broader, right? We're talking about overhead costs. So
who seconded? Was it Wayne or Justin?
Justin.
Can we do affirmation on that too?
Sure.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. So the next item on the agenda is somewhat covered, but somewhat not.
I gotta turn this so I can actually see the mouse.
It was to approve AO's central marking in February about civilian ranks, and it looks like those will be published, but there is still a desire to discuss the process for AOs.
Yeah, that's fine. So the AOs that we released today will be published under the essentially old system, and going forward, we need to figure out how we're doing admiralty orders.
With, well, with the new structure, the board is now the top dog, so it would then logically follow the board.
Yeah.
Well, it's really more of a role. Yeah.
But it's how to run the organization.
Hold on, stop.
Hold on. Okay, so I feel that that's not part of corporate governance. From a board perspective.
Corporate
Because-
governance, I would agree, would be more the policy documents.
Correct. But the AOs, I really feel should be a steering committee matter. Personally, I don't know if anybody agrees with that, but
I would agree.
Yeah.
To me, that's-
Yeah, that sounds like a steering committee thing to me.
I would motion to defer the AO approvals as a responsibility and a duty of the steering committee.
Okay.
Moving forward.
Yep.
And then we can build that process.
Yep.
Together on the steering committee and figure out a procedure for that.
Yep.
Policy for, but does that set admiralty orders on the same level as board directives and honor money directives and DO directives? And how does that hierarchy work?
I would say that question should be referred to the steering committee.
Well, I would say because it's the collective of those members, it's still, it
Yeah.
sets it above.
Yeah.
Because it's the totality of the group,
Yeah.
and not an individual.
It's hard because I think that we've institutionalized the idea of the Royal Council being, where all of that takes place, but in reality, it really shouldn't have been instituted like that. It was just, we were a club and we were having fun and everything, but now we've grown into, a much larger organization.
Yeah.
Since Martin wants, 7,000 members by.
It's only 88 more. dude. Only 88 more
Holy
people.
cow, man. Holy cow.
I mean, in fresh and not having any Royal Council experience.
No, and I,
The clean eye.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, I would say that our documents are policy documents and standard operating procedures. That's sort of what our level is. So,
So
And then, so if we're talking having the steering committee, then issue the AO via the secretary.
yes, yeah, the secretary or the designate to the secretary can delegate. Like, Cindy doesn't really want it.
That can delegate to Mark.
you can delegate to me. That's
No, I.
so.
I
Do we
have
need to
access
motion? Do we need to motion then that the admiralty orders are?
He moved.
I did.
You move. Okay. All right. So I will second that then. Just for clarification, we are basically saying that admiralty orders are going to fall under the purview of the steering committee permanently, and that this committee will, that the board, it's, hold on, there's a hand up. Yes.
Yeah, sorry, I did have a question about this. I know these have been being waited on. Is there a reason that we're going to table these specifically?
No. These are issued. These were
Okay.
issued by me today.
I thought.
No, no.
they were-
Going forward,
Gotcha.
going
Thank you.
forward, all of the ones that were not announced.
No, I'm over here like, wait a minute, these
Going-
were approved. Wait
No, no.
a minute.
Going forward, all of the ones that were announced today are approved. Yours were announced today, Wayne.
Yes, I'm just making sure, like, let's not table this further, please.
No, yours were announced today. So all the ones that were announced today are good to go, because the last one that was announced today also put the new
Okay.
bylaws into effect. So they went into effect with the last admiralty were announced, which is why I announced all the others first.
Think of it as the.
Then I'm a happy home secretary.
Right. Pardons and clemencies. So essentially, the motion is that admiralty orders from this point forward are purview of the steering committee. Whereas this board is responsible for things like policies and standard operating procedures. Would that be,
Yeah, I like it. I think you have to just think about it as
corporate governance
Think of us
documents.
as- if you want to determine, think of us as legislators.
Yeah.
No,
No, I'm explaining.
okay.
Yeah, sorry.
You're just looking at me.
I'm so sorry.
Don't look at.
Don't look at me.
I'll look at Cindy instead, okay? I'll give her the stare.
Considering this is
cor-
my fifth board, got it.
Yeah, corporate governance,
Corporate
so
governance.
think of us as legislators. Justin, it's more like the House of Lords, trying to determine the best way forward. But we're doing it at a corporate level, so and that's why we read through the
Yep.
duties and responsibilities, so we understood that that's important, but we still have to kind of separate role play.
Yep,
parts,
yeah.
and that's,
So-
so the ranks and the awards. and
Right.
all that.
So the clarification then is that admiralty orders from this point forward are the purview of the steering committee, and we will deal with corporate governance documentation.
So,
Would that be a better way to state it?
Thank you.
yes, but you don't follow.
Hold on, there's a yes, but.
Sorry. Because we said that the purview of the board is policy documents and standard operating procedures.
Corporate governance documents.
Corporate governance documents. But once we strip the role play from the existing AOs, are they not standard operating procedures and governing policies and documents?
Yes,
So isn't that?
Very,
our purview?
very few of them I would consider standard operating
But
procedures.
there are some.
But there-
Thank you.
But there are some that pertain to it in the sense that they stand up role play aspects of the organization. But there are very few of I would have to go through all of the AOs and double check if any of them are procedural for the organization as a whole. I think any of the procedural stuff that's in there is primarily geared toward the role play aspect. I'd have to see if we have
I
anything.
think there are a couple that are communications based.
And there might be one or two that are communications based, but we can always take those
Right.
and turn them into SOPs or policies.
Right, and then I would say that the art AO,
And the appointment of a lot of the positions.
yeah,
Are affected.
subjects to, yeah.
I
But
mean, does,
So I guess the fundamental question is, if we strip away the RFP, what purpose does the admiralty board serve that we're pushing down to the steering committee?
no, at the steering committee level, it is our,
So I guess the operative word would be, it would move us in the steering committee to be aware of the fact that if we are going to be looking at a possible AO, we need to look and see if it crosses the threshold
Yeah.
of governance. So if it does, then it would just be a recommendation upward.
Because I mean, the membership after 14, 15 years.
Yeah, they're gonna be.
Is not gonna understand the difference of a role play admiralty order and what we've done for the last decade.
right,
So-
which is my question is then, are we going to have some type of new document level that comes out then from the board?
So the one that I need to, so the one that we do need to tweak is policy documents.
Yeah.
There's an AO on policy documents that basically states that policy documents are in essence standard operating procedures. That doesn't mean that your role play side cannot have standard operating procedures. You absolutely can have, this is how BUSUP does stuff. This is how BUSHIPS does stuff.
Well, that's one of,
But if we're
but
gonna.
that's not really the role play side.
Well,
we're
like,
gonna still
like-
use a role play.
Right, that's still governing document in the sense of
Yeah.
executive function.
Right.
The day-to-day business operations of the club. Right, which is why we stood up the executive committee as a board committee. So there is board action that can be referred from that committee for adjudication by the board.
But the problem is from a role playing standpoint.
Steering committee can be the same thing.
Previously, when the Royal Council operated as the board of directors.
Right.
Their will, for lack of a better word, was packaged in the role-playing perspective. Admiralty.
Yep.
You had your naval directives, everyone had their own ones. If we're gonna keep the role play, I still think we're gonna rename governing documents and such.
Okay,
It should keep the admiralty
I get
funds come from this board, directives come from the steering committee as divisional vice presidents.
so I think that,
Otherwise, it's just. gonna
yeah,
get ugly.
I still think that that aspect should be discussed at the steering committee because the canonical or role play of that aspect, right, to that extent, but from our level would be a board resolution.
Yeah.
That would be, so like everything that we've been motioning on, in terms of what we do in governance, those would be recorded as board resolution 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, etc. Or, date.
Yeah.
I don't know how we're gonna,
Or
however
we should just
however we
retire
record it.
admiralty orders at that point.
But if there's action to be taken on a governance level that affects the operation of the club, and we want to further codify it as an admiralty order, we could just take the text of the board resolution and say, Her Majesty such and such is, whatever has thereby decreed, that this is now the way that, this is the method in which we will, undertake this,
Yeah.
how, it sounds better if Tim saying it, but but
I still think if we're going to roll.
imagine it Timber.
If we're gonna package it,
Oh, John.
if we're gonna package it, though, I still think admiralty orders, just from our long associated history of it, should be the repackaged board resolution on how we're operating the corporation club. Whereas the directive should stay at the branch.
And I get that. Well, what I'm saying is that I don't feel that I'm sorry. Okay, I don't think that the board should spend time worrying about that sort of thing. I think that should be referred to the steering committee in order to determine what the best role play aspect is moving forward, in order to codify in the non-binding whatever, AO, ND, CD, whatever name it, that reflects the board resolution as best they possibly can. Therefore, everything's derived from whatever the board resolves.
So in other words, what he's saying is we will create a board resolution that states X. If that board resolution then has that impact on both the operational and full-time aspects of the club, we pass that resolution down to the steering committee, which takes the verbiage that we have done, puts it into an admiralty order, and then that admiralty order is then issued by the steering committee.
Yes.
That is in essence, the same thing that we have voted on today.
Because then that creates stakeholders buying into what that AO says. And even though it may have Mark's signature, everybody's vetted it, right? As members of the committee. But because it's not technically, it's not really board action, right? It's a method of communicating to the membership in a manner in which they become accustomed, just like you said.
Whereas we, for example, as a board, we put it together a resolution on how finances are handled, or how assets are tagged. I don't need every chapter in TRMN to be beholden to an asset thing because those chapters. So that's a policy document like an SOP that states, this is the SOP for asset tag.
Right. Does that make sense?
It could work.
Yeah,
I think we're gonna have a little learning curve. Yeah.
it is, but
We're gonna end executive.
Joe, if you want,
We can revisit it. Right?
no, but yeah, absolutely. We can revisit it. We can reopen the discussion by saying, if we refer the matter to the steering committee, do you want to sit in on that committee discussion and add your voice to, and advice to?
No, I mean, as long as the board's decisions are being communicated in a way that is clear to our membership, I'm okay with how it.
In a consistent fashion.
Yeah. Yes. I would assume by
Clear
definition.
and consistent.
Yes.
I'm just gonna gavel sessions, but but I'm just saying, if you feel strongly about on that thing, you're welcome to sit in and say, I want to, I'm going forward, we have that option to visit the committees and do that. So, anybody else who's not on the steering committee by selection is welcome to do that.
Executive.
Sorry.
So are we?
Well, as a matter of fact, to that point, especially for the executive committee, I do recommend that if board members have questions or want to know more about the day-to-day operations, visiting an executive committee meeting is a great way to ask questions. To do that if you are concerned about something. I mean that they're going to be available to that. So, and it even just a matter of sitting in and listening, and if you don't have questions, seeing how things perfect. Now go for it. That was my 2 cents.
So just to wrap things up, we still have a motion on the table.
Yes,
Yes,
Did anybody second?
yes.
Martin second.
Martin seconded.
I seconded.
So I guess the discussion's closed on that.
Yeah, so then the discussion is closed, Madam Secretary. please.
We have to call the vote for this one.
No.
You can vote, I'm just asking if you.
Can you read the motion again?
Might move that the steering committee issue AOs in the future.
Could you say that again, please?
Well, I may change it when I listen to the
Oh,
recording.
yeah, that's fine.
I'm just trying to get,
Oh, Mike moved that, the steering committee issue AOs. Martin second.
Yeah, so the verbiage I used was that AOs are the purview of the steering committee and policy documents are the purview of the board.
actually, Mike did the motion, we were always.
Sorry. Then it was a clarification.
It was a clarification.
He's the president.
All right, so
All those in favor, say aye.
I,
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next is new business.
I got a couple points of new business. I think let's start with the existing admiralty orders. And how are we gonna have a process to review them in compliance with kind of our new corporate governance structure? Has that been
Well, that
previously considered?
first past the steering committee.
Um,
I know.
it is. I honestly believe that although the steering committee is going to be handling AOs moving forward, but I think that that's a great question that should be remanded to the office of the president. That was the originating point of this AOs. So just for compliance purposes, since the secretary is the chief compliance officer of the corporation, that should be undertaken by the office of the FLA in the role play side, and the office of corporate secretary in conjunction to be able to go through and scan or vet them all, I guess, again. I'm sorry, it's gonna screw this up.
I already do the wiki updates. So I've already
Okay.
gone through them many times.
it's okay, I've gone through the fair number, I got all of them.
Okay, I just,
Way vast majority of them say.
But thanks, Joe. Love you bunches.
I'm just asking the question.
Love you bunches.
Yeah, no, I will go through them, or we will go through them, we'll figure out which ones affect corporate policy and corporate governance, and which ones are. A vast-
Looking quickly, the only ones that I could find immediately were the policy document,
Yeah.
numbering system, and the original AO that discussed policy documents.
Yeah, I think that's probably it. There might be one more hiding somewhere. But we can go through and double check.
as I said.
I will second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Or is there additional discussion?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. And
Excellent. I would like to discuss the status of the GSN and the High Admiralty.
Oh, boy.
Say that one more time, please.
The status of the GSN and the High Admiralty. And if we need to
Board?
move into another executive session in order to do so.
Is that a board decision?
it's a steering committee decision.
Well, it was a Royal Council decision before this board. So this board
So
decision.
I heard status of GSN and then I heard BUSUP.
No.
No, the question is, we'd like, so Joe asked to discuss the
Current status.
the current status of the GSM and the High Admiral's position. We're trying to figure out if that is a steering committee thing or if it is something that this board should be discussing.
Doesn't the bylaw just state that president appoints all the members of the steering committee except as delineated in the bylaws?
Well, the steering committee is, the committee chairman appoints the members.
Is it the committee chairman?
Yeah,
Which is this guy.
chairman has appointed me
Okay.
as the committee chairman. And then I appoint.
I thought it said board chairman.
No, there's, yeah, there's a lot of. chairmen.
Lots of chairs.
Instead of multiple hats.
So I think the reason why I'm hesitating is because he's right, it is a previous board resolution. So it might.
So then we will go back into executive session to discuss this.
I motion to move into executive session.
Second.
Motion to move into executive session has been put forth and seconded. Do I have a, we can do it by acclamation, right? Acclamation?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm going to pause the recording. It is 7:21. We are moving into executive session. It is 7:54. We have exited executive committee. We are basically satisfied with what was discussed regarding the Grayson High Admiral situation. Next on the agenda, are we still on any new business?
Yes, we're on new business.
Do we have any additional new business?
Yes. It was brought to my attention with Front of the Cats. It's been asked that we have another
Charity.
thank you, charity support on top of. They didn't say we have to replace, they weren't asking for a replacement of Front of the Cats, but another option that we could use for charity drives like that. So multiple people have asked for that, so I just thought I'd bring it up. Cats is sort of undergoing management.
You mean Big Cat
You mean Big Cat
Big
Rescue?
I was like, what, run for the cats?
You run that.
Because of Run for the Cats, which, right, which is the event I just ran.
Yeah, I know.
So
would this be a good piece
So-
to send to the executive committee?
Executive or Karen?
Executive, because it's a B plan, like,
It's not.
It's
No,
not-
it's
No,
I would
no,
say
it's a charity.
Sister. So here's what, so my thought on this is as follows. I'd like to support Max and Marianne as long as they are still alive. Those are the two Bobcats that we support. Once they move to Turpentine Creek, I'd like to transfer that support to Turpentine Creek until such a time as Max and Marianne are no longer with us. That does not mean that we cannot also select another charity. But I would like to not withdraw the support for the cats that we are supporting.
And I'm not even going to even suggest that, but
Right.
choices would like to be had.
Yeah, no, I'm perfectly happy with other choices. Like I said, I just want to make sure that we support the cats that we are. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would just like to make sure that we support the cats that we are supporting because we've actually given them a lot of support over the years and
And I don't think. we need to-
Another charity that would really fit with us based on what I have heard this weekend,
Mhm.
both from you and from them, is the Planetary Society. Because they work with kids in schools
I'm fine with that.
and space.
and
Well,
space.
I think,
Yep.
do we, I mean, is this?
It's
we-
just a
decide this
suggestion.
level?
No,
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 it's
no.
just a suggestion.
Yeah,
No, no.
it's something.
We
And
can,
I'm
we,
just sort of bringing
yeah.
up, that's like, hey, can we open the discussion?
Yeah.
On the point raised, yes, it would be before, because we're talking about dedicating monies, right, so that's financial.
but which specific charities we want to support, we could kick down and then make a decision as to whether or not
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
If you want the steering committee to
propose charities.
recommend. Sure.
Yeah.
Since it's no longer fully in here.
I sent a request, another request to bring us down to 67.
Yeah, I mean,
I think they turned it off at a certain time.
I mean, what I would like to do is essentially kick it down to the steering committee.
So,
Yeah. Kick it down to the steering committee to select additional charities.
Okay.
And once that has happened, then have the board, ooh, the air conditioner just started. And then have the board basically affirm our support for Max and Marianne regardless of where they wind up, and then vote on any additional charities nominated by the steering.
Excellent.
All right, so I'm gonna motion that is what we do. So a second.
Seconded.
Second, okay. Can we do that by acclamation? Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed. Hearing none opposed, motion carries.
Any other new business?
Steering committee's now.
Yes, no?
They get,
None?
No new business.
they get more
Okay,
bureaucracy. right?
next is to schedule our next meeting. The next meeting we are required to have is in a year, but we can meet more than that.
Quarterly meetings is what we are required to have, I think.
No,
No.
the bylaws say once a year.
We may meet.
You
Oh, we
may
may
need
meet.
more.
We may meet.
Yes,
But I
that's
think
why
we
I
should
said.
set up-
the
I
next-
think we should set up a quarterly meeting. So July, so August, September, October. Any weekend but Halloween, Sarah Kate will kill you.
At this point, any weekend.
21st is over for me.
Well,
I have 2 meetings.
Later, but yeah.
Is that October?
First week of October?
Yeah, first week of October.
Early enough.
I am
Anybody
just
else?
on the.
Now, when you say the first weekend of October,
Hold
do you
on.
mean? I'm sorry, you're saying hold on to me or?
Yes, hold on to you. I need to double check something for work. There is a potential worky thing.
And he's gonna ask, do you mean the October 1, which is a Sunday, or do you mean 7th?
No, I'm going to suggest the 14th or 15th of October.
Okay, and yes, that was what my question was going to be.
I
I
am going to suggest the 14th or 15th of October. There is a very real possibility I will be on the other side of the planet the first week of October.
Oh, okay.
I have a manufacturing inspection I have to do, and we're trying to nail the date down, but it's not going to be the weekend of the 14th, 15th.
Okay. So, but what about the 7th and the 8th?
There's a risk I could be in the Philippines.
You just said the 7th and 8th is bad.
Oh, sorry. I
Seven-
thought you said 14th and 15th.
No,
Yeah, that's 14th.
14th and 15th,
Not
good.
good.
14th and 15th, good.
Okay, sorry.
7th and
Uh,
7th and 8th could be very bad.
No, 14th and 15th, I will be in Arizona. My mom and stepdad are having a vowel renewal ceremony. Vow, not vowel. Words. It is late.
From A to Z. Oh,
You know,
What about the weekend before?
Like October 1.
Damn it.
I will be in Arizona, and I will not be.
Yeah.
so the
October 20th is a Friday.
So the risk is, so the risk here is that we were looking at November, correct? No, October.
October.
The risk is that if we look before that, I might be leaving as early as the 22nd,
Oh,
but I might also be leaving on the 29th. I don't know that yet. It has not firmed up. So I cannot answer for any of the weekends from the 23rd through the 8th.
So we don't have to meet exactly according.
No, I understand that. I'm just saying that if
Wherever we start from, then quarterly. we'll have to have.
yeah, I'm just saying that if we're looking at that particular calendar slot, those are the dates that I
it
can't.
would be easier to remember, actually, if we met in September, because then you know it's every 3rd. Everything divisible by 3.
We can do September. How does September 6th? Well, whoops, this is not on the 16th. Oh, that's perfect. September 16th or 17th?
7th would be better.
Okay. You celebrating Rosh Hashanah on the 16th?
No, I'm having a space for executive committee meeting. At this point,
Oh.
it's all- they're all set monthly
Yeah.
for this.
No, that's fine. I just wondered because the 16th happens to be Rosh Hashanah.
September 17th.
Okay. September 17th looks like the date it will be.
The 17th looks good for me.
Wayne?
Wayne?
Yeah, it should be fine.
What?
It's my birthday. I mean, it's not on my birthday. So I'm good.
What the hell?
We'll have cake.
Yeah, well, cake.
Well, yeah, Cheryl and I have the same birthday. You know that?
No.
No.
Yep.
No,
Well, it
I
turns out
didn't know that.
September birthdays are very common. So it's really,
It's
I don't know.
winter.
winter, people get bored and yeah. Anyway, yeah, 17th's great.
I love that. They get bored and then they're not bored for eating.
You have to be that exception.
He said they get bored, then they don't get bored for 18 years.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Time of day.
I was saying September birthdays are very common. It's
I mean,
Yeah.
afternoon should work fine. I mean, I want to take into account that Mike is on this coast
Yeah.
and
Joe
Joe
Mike
is on
in
this
the
coast.
afternoon.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm working that day yet or not. So,
If you are working that day, we want to go 5:30 Pacific time, correct?
yeah,
I mean, I mean, I'm fine with a late meeting if you guys want to do that. So 5:30 Pacific time would be what, 8:30 Eastern and 7:30 Central?
Yep.
And are you Central?
Mhm.
So 7:30 Central?
yep.
Okay. Cool. You're what?
So I might be cranky, 'cause that'll-
I mean, I think you got 4:30.
Yeah, actually, I'm free.
But Wayne works, if he's working.
if Wayne is working,
If I'm working, I don't know yet. If not, I will let you know well in advance.
We can alter to 4:30 if we need to, but let's.
Yeah.
At least set it for 5:30, and if we can move it up, we will.
And
All
then I'm assuming we'll be Zoom rather than in person.
Yes. Unless everyone wants to,
Probably get the executive order.
unless everyone wants to fly to Minnesota, because I'm not flying out to California.
I think we all have to go to Chicago so that everyone has to.
Fly
skim
somewhere.
it.
That's,
Yeah.
that's fair. I'm fine with that. But yeah, it'll be Zoom.
Because some of that, 10 grand.
Okay. We don't have to do motions because it says you're allowed.
Yeah, you can just.
Cool.
Okay.
We don't have to do motions for this. I can adjourn the meeting. So the meeting is adjourned. Have a great evening, everybody. Go have fun. Do whatever it is you need to do. I need
Night,
to go
everybody.
back and-
Good night.
Oh, I'm gonna stop recording. Yep, stop recording.
All right.